Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. Returning to you for a TV show review for Fallout Season 1, Episode 4 review for the Ghouls that I got a chance to check out for the fourth episode of Season 1 for this TV show. So I'm going to discuss what I watched for Season 1, Episode 4 for the Ghouls and let you know my thoughts on this episode overall. So it was only like 48 minutes, so it wasn't that long. But let's dive into this episode review. Now, pretty much shows Lucy still being captive by Walter Goggins as the ghoul. And pretty much he's not a ghoul yet, not an actual zombified ghoul, but he turns into one. He doesn't turn into one just yet. He has to take some kind of bile to keep him stabilized before he turns into a zombified ghoul. So you actually get to see some zombified ghouls in this episode. And pretty much when they turn, they are not themselves anymore. So you get to see their way of life in a way. But unfortunately, when they're on the surface, when they're the surface dwellers, of course. But Lucy's just trying to find a way to escape from Walter Goggins' grasp and his clutches, and she has a hard time doing that. And then she meets this robot Snip Snip that basically is going to harvest her organs, which is fucked up. She thought he was nice for a time. He said, "No, I'm gonna harvest your organs." I'm like, what the fuck? So some fucked up shit happens in this episode. There's some messed up stuff I had critiques about with this episode, but overall, it's still a really, really entertaining episode. Sorry for my yawning. I was really invested in some of this episode. I mean, I had a few critiques, but it's pretty good overall. It's gonna get a strong rating this episode. It may have felt very shortened from the last episode, but the character building was what made it interesting and a great time to watch this fourth episode. I mean, it was, like I said, it was a lot shorter, but it still was a well executed episode. Ella Purnell's performance as Lucy is quite outstanding. The ghoul that Walter Goggins he's portraying. He's a bad guy, of course, but he's still uh, basically is trying to give Lucy words to live by in a way. And there's this thing called the Golden Rule that he didn't follow by. So he's like, there are no rules out in the surface dwelling land. So up in the surface, there's no rules or whatever. So pretty much, I really enjoyed this episode. It was a little shorter, like I said, but still a well executed episode. So if I were to give it a score, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 for this episode. Really good. I don't know if it's one of the weakest episodes I've seen, but I don't know. It still was a strong episode, despite a few critiques and some weird stuff happening. And Norm is trying to find out what happened in Vault 32 as well in this episode. And apparently things happen where he enters Vault 32 and some kind of shit happened. But it has to do with their mother in a way that opened the doors to Vault 32. But who knows? There was some kind of shit that happened that led me to understand, like, oh, this is going to go into something interesting. But still, well executed episode. 9 out of 10 for this episode for Fallout Season 1, Episode 4. Sorry about my yawning in this video. I'm a little tired, and I'm most likely going to be going to bed pretty soon. But until then, you guys have a good night, and thanks for watching this episode review. I might have another one come out later, but until then, you have a good night. Thanks for watching.